Let's be real, essay. You already know you're going to watch Avengers Endgame and all these reviews are just a formality. There really isn't much to say about this film because it was incredible in almost every way. This is the most important cinematic event in like the past decade or more, and I can only imagine this is what it must have felt like to be a young pup watching the original Star Wars for the first time in the 70s and feeling that sense of awe. The directors, the Russo brothers, continue to show that they are truly masters of making superhero films as they deliver what I consider to be the ultimate love letter to fans. The only reason I was worried about this film is because of the potential for pro-radical feminist political propaganda, but no, the Russo brothers very wisely did not turn this movie into the Captain Marvel show, because they know Brie Larson is like a black hole sucking all the charisma out of her scenes.
Lifelong friends, hopefully.
Yeah.
Especially.
No, not with me though.
No, we're not gonna.
Well, I mean, I'd say it's just
anymore.
Started and also probably ended.
Everything I kind of do now feels like it's in the shadow of this, which...
By the way, hats off to Chris Hemsworth for delivering the most difficult scene in the entire film.
I like this one.
Jokes aside, they kept the spotlight on the more popular characters while still treating all the characters with the respect they deserve. There was just so much about this movie that was incredible. The CGI that was used to modify certain characters blew me away. There were so many cameos and callback humor and fan service and nostalgia. Even Hawkeye was surprisingly way more badass than I was expecting. There are so many little surprises, and thankfully the trailers didn't give too much away, and hopefully you've been able to avoid spoilers on the internet. The movie is 3 hours long, but it didn't feel like it because ultimately it doesn't matter when every scene is important and is part of an emotional build-up, and there were multiple times where I felt the urge to cry alpha dog tears. Trust me, all my alpha dogs out there are going to get hit right in the feels, especially if you have been following these films from the beginning. This is my first perfect score I'm giving to a film, so I'll be giving Avengers Endgame 10 Vitas Thanos out of 10. This film is everything a Marvel fan could have asked for and more. The only thing that could possibly lower the score for me would be if you were living under a rock and not watching Marvel movies for the past 10 years, because then you won't get the same emotional impact out of some scenes. Let's just hope against all hope that the post-Endgame phase of Marvel movies don't start to suck as much as Captain Marvel did.
Look at it with responsibility. I have fun being there for all my extra takes.
Trained you up on the apprenticeship.
I don't feel
And
like
she
I
took
actually
over.
learned